Welcome on behalf of Rock Around the Blockade. Thank you for coming. It's totally inspiring to see this many people. This is our 8th day, our 9th city, and over 1,000 people have heard our comrades from Cuba speak. It's been an inspiring process, and I look forward to the meeting tonight. Inspiring because we're hearing about a world where human beings are the centre, where human beings are the priority, where things are organised in order to not only improve the lives of every human being, not only within Cuba itself, but internationally as well. And this is a rare thing. But to see a room so packed shows us that, the apathy and the inertia and the depression that capitalism can lend us to, that we can break through that there are all of us together interested in building a better world. And we'll hear more about that soon.
What is it in particular you want to know about socialism? Is it just
how it's affected Cuba and how they're going to try and take it forward into the future and how they hope it will continue and develop.
We came here for some inspiration about how to fight for the future. We need to change something. It's getting pretty bad.
Well, I want to make it take things that are from Cuba and bring them back here and try and improve the system and try and improve our human rights and our morals and stuff so that hopefully it can improve for the better.
And I'm just here because I'm quite interested in the fight against racism and imperialism.
Alright, and what is it about Cuba that represents the fight against racism and imperialism?
Well, I met someone who's organising this a couple of weeks ago, and it took me along to films they were showing about the health system in Cuba, and I thought it was quite amazing what's happening there. So I'm quite interested just to learn more about what's going on.
Rock Around the Blockade was established in 1995 in solidarity with the Cuban Revolution. We're an organisation based in Britain. We're active in many cities across this country. We link the process of supporting socialism with the need to build a socialist movement in this country.
We want you to be able to ask all the questions you want of the Cuban comrades today, and we've known over the last 8-9 days that really no question is left aside. All questions are answered, and anything you have to say, anything you've heard or read, or anything you want to know is welcome. We want also this tour to be part of countering the media lies and misinformation that we know is what happens to Cuba outside of Cuba. Because what Cuba is doing is a threat to the capitalist world. Yeah. Because if the rest of the world could do what Cuba was doing, the capitalists wouldn't stand a chance. So they don't want you to know about Cuba, and this is why this tour is so important, because you'll hear at first hand from Cubans who can be here to tell us how it is.
That's good. I'd like to ask you a question. We're talking about incentives, and I'm sure we can all understand what a financial incentive is, but you spoke about a moral incentive.
Hello, I was wondering what the situation was with art schools in Cuba with consideration towards freedom of speech.
I just enjoyed that talk as well. The Western media tries to make out as if Castro was a dictator.
¿Cuáles son las diferencias?
Is there any difference, if any, between Fidel Castro and Raúl Castro? Because media are talking about differences, but are there any?
Do you think the tourist industry in Cuba is creating an unequal society in Cuba?
Very inspiring to see this room full of people who love Cuba, who are trying to know a little more about Cuba, a little more than we can tell, because we are only three persons from Cuba that will try to share with you our experience, our ideas, our feelings about our system, and in this sense, we'll try to face the terrible situation you are facing here with the press. We have many ways of participation of the people in the ruling of their own life. A revolution is in essence a product of the participation of the people. A revolution can be imposed from above. Our system, in this sense, this newspaper is wrong, but in other sense is right, because our democracy, our system is built, is enforced from above. But the difference is that this from above is that it is a system that begins from the people. For us, the people is in the top of the system.
No con la farsa de Estados Unidos.
No, with a fake system developed by US.
Dos partidos que dicen que son diferentes, el de republicano y el demócrata, son lo mismo.
With two different parties that pretend to be actually different, but they are the same.
Entre Obama, Hillary Clinton y el señor McCain.
I am very updated and well informed about what's going on in the US elections between Obama, Hillary Clinton and this McCain.
Qué cosa más ridícula.
How ridiculous.
Ese
How
sistema.
ridiculous.
Millones y millones de dólares para hacer la elección.
Millions of dollars in order to have these elections.
Para que después vote nada más que el 40% de la población.
And at the end, only 40% of the population actually vote.
Porque ya el pueblo de Estados Unidos ya no cree en las elecciones.
So people distrust the party.
Yo creo que usted está más informado que eso, que yo.
I think you probably are more well informed about this than me.
No queremos el sistema. No queremos el
That's
sistema.
not the system we want.
Porque también nuestros enemigos dicen que en Cuba no hay libertad de expresión.
Our enemies say that in Cuba there's no freedom of speech.
What? A mí me da ganas de reír.
I feel like laughing.
Si acaso tenemos nosotros en Cuba una tradición,
if there is a tradition in Cuba,
a base bastante negativa,
and sometimes quite negative,
es que los cubanos discuten todo.
Is that Cubans argue on anything.
Y hablan de todo en cualquier lugar, tomando café, tomando una cerveza.
And they talk about everything, doing anything, having a beer or a coffee.
Criticando el gobierno.
Criticizing the government.
Sí, bueno. Tradicionalmente.
So that's what the Cuban do traditionally.
Al cubano no hay quien lo calle.
There's no one can shut up Cubans.
Fíjense, es verdad que él me puso nada más que 30 minutos para hablar y miren cuándo voy ya.
Look if it's true that I was asked to talk for 30 minutes and I've been on and on.
Y eso igual.
And the same with Jesus.
Eso viene del siglo XVIII.
So this is from the 18th century.
Desde que los amigos españoles nos tenían colonizados.
Since our Spanish friends colonized us. So regarding tourism in Cuba,
cierta desigualdad.
There is a little problem about creating inequality.
Yo soy, modestia aparte, doctor en economía.
I am doctor on economics.
Piense que soy presumido. Pero yo gano 650 pesos cubanos mensuales.
And every month I earn 650 Cuban pesos.
Pero un muchacho, un bellboy de estos botones del turismo en un hotel.
And a bellboy in a tourist hotel in Cuba.
Al igual que en otros países del mundo.
Same as any other country.
Los turistas que entran al hotel.
And tourists checking in the hotel.
Le dan, pues se ganan $100 en un día. En un día.
They tip him with $100 a day. $100.
Ese muchacho
so this
puede ganarse 3,000 pesos cubanos, 4,000 al mes.
So this guy can get 3,000 or 4,000 Cuban pesos every month.
5 o 6 veces lo que yo gano después que me pasé años estudiando.
So 5 or 6 times my wages after being studying so hard for so many years.
Ahí tiene la respuesta.
So you've got your answer.
Eso es una diferencia muy importante.
So that is a very important difference.
No podemos quitarle ese estímulo material al botón del hotel.
So we cannot take this away, this material incentive away.
Pero tenemos que buscar la manera de buscar un poquito más de igualdad, menos diferencias tan grandes.
But we have to try to educate in order to avoid this difference.
Okay, briefly about difference between Fidel and Raúl. Of course, Fidel is Fidel and Raúl is Raúl. Different persons. But in the essence of this answer, I think, should be focused on the question that in Cuba, the power is not in the hands of one person. The power in Cuba is in the hands of the people through our organs, representative organs, through our mass organization, through the different forms we have for the exercise of this power.
Y hasta aquí terminamos.
That's finished.
Gracias a ustedes.
Thanks very much.